Hi guys, it's Miss Heidi here. I've missed you all so much. I'm so glad you could join me and Zoe today for another really fun book that I'm excited to share with you. This book that I'm going to share with you today is about a really cool woman named Catherine Olivia Sessions. And she has the nickname of Kate, just like Miss Kate from our preschool and our friend Kate from preschool as well. I love this book because it talks about Kate, who grew up a very long time ago. And she was born up in Northern California, where I was born and grew up. And then she moved down to San Diego, just like me, but a very long time ago when there weren't very many trees here in San Diego. But up in Northern California, there were a lot of really cool trees. Called redwoods and all different kinds of really cool trees. And so she grew up loving trees, and then she came to San Diego and didn't find very many trees. So this is the story of Kate Sessions and what she did for San Diego and trees down here. So here she is, Catherine Olivia Sessions. This book is called The Tree Lady, and it's by Joseph Hopkins, and it's illustrated by Jill McElmurray. This is a fun, really interesting story. So here we are. Here's Kate as a young girl growing up with lots of trees. Catherine Olivia Sessions grew up in the woods of Northern California. She gathered leaves from oaks and elms. She collected needles from pines and redwoods, and she braided them together with flowers to make necklaces and bracelets. It was 1806. That was a long time ago from 2020, and the year it is now. And girls from Kate's side of town weren't supposed to get their hands dirty, but Kate did. Oh my goodness. Let's see. This is Kate at school. Look at those really cool desks. Kate listened well in school. She learned how to write and count. She remembered the poems and stories she read, but best of all, she liked studying wind and rain, muscles and bones, plants and trees, especially trees. Most girls were discouraged from studying science, but not Kate. And there's her teacher. They're all learning about plants. Do you see the plants down here at the bottom? These are all little kinds of plants that she was learning about. Oh, look at her laying in the middle of all of those trees. Kate felt the trees were her friends. She loved the way they reached toward the sky and how their branches stretched wide to catch the light. Trees seemed to Kate like giant umbrellas that sheltered her and the animals, birds, and plants that lived in the forest. Not everyone feels at home in the woods, but Kate did. I love this picture of all of those different cool tree drawings. It's beautiful artwork. And there is Kate graduating. When Kate grew up, she left home to study science at college. She looked at soil and insects through a microscope. Look at this microscope, and that is what the leaves look like underneath a microscope. You can see all the different, all the different cells inside of a tree. And look, there's also what leaves look like. Some other leaves. She studied trees around the world, and she learned how plants made food and how they drank water. No woman had ever graduated from the University of California with a degree in science. But in 1881, Kate did. Wow, look, this is San Diego. After graduation, Kate took a job in Southern California. When her boat docked in San Diego, she saw that her new home was a desert town. Kate never thought she would live in a place with very few trees, but now she did. Look at that, all those buildings and no trees. A long time ago, that's what San Diego looked like. Kate began her job as a teacher. She was also the vice principal of the school, so she had to make sure that everyone followed the rules. Kate missed studying science and was not sure she would stay on the job. But for 2 years, she did. Look at the school in the background, and all those children are her students. Miss Kate, and look at, there's just some bushes and rocks on the ground. No trees at all. And there she is at school. This is a big chalkboard that we used to use to write on. And you can see she's staring out the window. And what does she see out the window? From her school, Kate could see City Park in the hills above town. It was called a park, but it didn't look like one. It was where people grazed cattle ate, and dumped garbage. So there's all piles of garbage outside where all their animals would eat. Most San Diegans didn't think trees could ever grow here, but Kate did. You see the little girl with the chalk, writing on the chalkboard. Well, with Kate's love for the woods, she thought San Diego needed trees more than anything else. So she left teaching to become a gardener. She knew she must plant trees that could live in dry soil with lots and lots of sunshine. Her friends worried Kate wouldn't find trees like that. But she did. Look at all these trees that she found that she knew that they could live in San Diego. So she started planting them all. Here's all different kinds of trees. And they're big science names. But there's a eucalyptus, palm tree. We have a bristlecone pine, a quiver tree, all kinds of very interesting trees. Kate became a tree hunter. She wrote letters to gardeners all over the world and asked them to send her seeds that could grow in a desert. She also traveled into Mexico to look for trees that liked hot, dry weather and steep hills and canyons. Not everyone knows how to hunt for trees, but Kate did. She wrote all these letters. Oh my goodness, now look at San Diego. What is different? Soon Kate's trees were planted along streets, around schools, and in small parks and plazas all over town. People bought trees from Kate's nursery and planted them in their yards. From elms and oaks and eucalyptus and palms. By the turn of the century, young trees from Kate's nursery were growing in every part of San Diego. Most people didn't think a desert town could sustain so many trees. But Kate did. It looks so pretty, all those colors. Then in 1905, the city leaders announced that a great fair called the Panama, California Exposition was coming to San Diego in 1915. That was 6 years they had to get ready for that exposition. The fair would be held in City Park, which was now called Balboa Park. Have you guys been to Balboa Park? Kate felt Balboa Park still needed more trees, thousands more, to look beautiful and to shade the visitors that came to the fair. And all of the people agreed, trees, trees, more trees. And here is a map where they're planning out the exposition. That was too many trees for Kate to plant by herself, but she knew lots of people could do it together. She asked her friends to bring their friends and to come to the park for tree planting parties. Again and again, people volunteered to help. Those volunteers weren't sure they could plant enough trees, but before long, they did. Look at all of those really cool and different trees that they helped plant. And when the fair opened, San Diego was ready. Millions of trees and plants filled Balboa Park. The fair had so many visitors, it stayed open for 2 years instead of 1. People came from near and far to see the attractions and stroll in the cool shade. Wow, look at those trees. The fairgoers couldn't believe San Diego had such magnificent gardens, but thanks to Kate, it did. In the years after the fair, Kate was given many awards for her work, and people took to calling her the mother of Balboa Park. She continued gardening and planting trees until her death in 1940. Back then, few could have imagined that San Diego would become the lush, leafy city it is today. Do you see the tools that she's holding? Gardening tools, and over here you have a rake and the shovels. But all along, year after year, Catherine Olivia Sessions did. Some of you might know of Kate Sessions Park here in San Diego that, this is about the author, that is in La Jolla. If you've heard of it or been there, it is a really cool, cute park. And she helped to do a lot of great things for San Diego, giving us shade and all of these wonderful trees that we have today. So I hope you really enjoyed that book about Catherine Olivia Sessions, Miss Kate. And if you can see here, she has a really cool necklace of all of her leaves and branches and pine cones. Maybe you guys can go outside in your backyard or in your neighborhood and find some really cool leaves and make a necklace yourself. That sounds like fun. Well, thank you guys for coming to my circle time today. I hope you really enjoyed that book and learning more about trees and San Diego, where we live. I miss you all so much, and I can't wait to see you all again soon. Bye for now. Go wash your hands.